I honestly want to give up the whole let's talk about geeks and gamers and all that. But somebody sent me a clip of a tweet, and Jeremy criticized the show because it was virtue signaling. It was playing identity politics, and his reasoning because of that was because of the inclusion of David Luna as Andor, which really didn't sit well with me. So I'll make this video. I want to be more trollish. I want to be a little more less serious when I make these kinds of videos because who fucking cares? Jeremy loves this kind of stuff. I love this kind of stuff. Let's all have fun while we do it. But before we get into this video, I'm going to give my quick thoughts on Andor. I watched all 3 episodes, and it took me 2 days to watch 2 episodes. Not because of any plans I had. I mean, I had to wait till after work to watch it yesterday. But that's because the first 2 episodes were really boring. They were incredibly boring. Uh, and so I struggled to watch them. I won't even lie to you. I struggled and I struggled. But eventually I maintained and I watched episode 3. Episode 3 was fantastic and it was amazing and it kept me hooked on the show. I think visually the show looks stunning, but those first 2 episodes were incredibly boring. They were incredibly boring, long. The editing team behind Lucasfilms needs to start improving because the fact that a fan version of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series turned into a 2-hour movie is better than the show itself is embarrassing. We gotta stop. Lucasfilm, I think at this point Lucasfilm is just hiring shitty editors because Book of Boba Fett was poorly edited, Obi-Wan was poorly edited, Andor poorly edited. I think most of it comes with they're putting too much filler, not enough killer. And that's my criticism of Andor. But I've actually really enjoyed episode 3. I think David Luna looks great in the show. I think he's done pretty well. I think the cast has done well. And I'm excited for the next upcoming episodes. Now let's hear what Jeremy has to say.
1 through 3 is here, and I have a lot to say about it. Now, first and foremost, I'll just go ahead and say I enjoyed this far more than I thought I would. That doesn't mean that I genuinely like it, and it doesn't mean that I don't have pretty big problems with it. But
what he means by this is making hate content gets more money, so he's just going to pretend to hate it because he's been saying this for a long time. Oh, I'm going to stop supporting Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm. It's like it's like if you want to stop supporting then stop watching and giving these. I mean, I know it's hard because you're a Star Wars fan. It's your favorite franchise. It's your favorite movies of all time. But like, if you're going to keep preaching something, then, at some point you got to be able to practice what you preach. That's just my thing. But anyways, but no, I think he genuinely probably didn't like it. I liked it. I just thought the first 2 episodes were boring. I think they went way too heavy on flashback, and I don't know, but let's continue.
I did enjoy it, and I do find myself looking forward to the next episode. And a lot of that has to do with the overall scope that is involved with this show. This world that they have created, it feels big. You can feel the scope. You can feel the scale of it. It feels lived in. It's a very...
I do agree with him on that. That's actually the main thing that got me to keep watching episode 3 because it just felt like something big was happening,
Interesting.
And I'll give him a shout out. I think one thing I like about Andor so far is it's not constantly being like, hey guys, remember this guy, remember that guy, because I felt like Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, they kept doing remember this guy, remember that, remember this, remember that. And I think right now Star Wars, what it needs to do is start separating itself from, oh, let's give everyone nostalgia. Honestly, I think that's what we should stop doing with movies in general because Marvel's doing that. DC looks like it's going to do that with The Flash. I don't know.
World. It doesn't necessarily feel like Star Wars, especially at first. In fact, it felt more like some kind of cyberpunk Blade Runner world when it started, but
it did feel very Blade Runner-ish. Yeah, that's something I appreciate from the show, but let's continue.
Felt interesting. And ultimately, that's what you have to do in the beginning is get someone interested. So that part of it works. The lived-in environment works. It's beautifully shot. It feels like you're actually on location. It doesn't feel like a green screen. It doesn't feel like this fake thing.
Yeah, I believe this series they filmed all in real areas, while Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett was filmed in the volume stage. So
that they have created to try to trick you into thinking people are there. It actually feels like a world that you want to know more about, and that's why after 3 episodes, which is essentially just one big movie, or however you want to word that, like there's no point in these episodes being split up. There just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean they had to edit a lot of it out because it kind of felt like the editing team was like, oh crap, we gotta make these episodes. These scenes that we were gonna delete, yeah, let's keep them in this time,
It made no sense. And of course, I don't know what Lucasfilm is doing. I don't think Lucasfilm knows what they're doing half the time. It was kind of stupid to release all 3 of these episodes individually instead of just releasing one big hour and 30 or 40 minute run, because that would have flowed much better. Now, one of the big problems with this series so far, 1 through 3, is while it's beautifully shot and while there is interesting locations and while you did a good job of creating a big scope and a scale, the story that we're being told is terribly boring. It's horrendously boring.
Okay, so far I'm agreeing with everything he says. The scope looks great. Everything looks great. Definitely something big's happening. But the story it was kind of boring. It doesn't matter what plot you got. It doesn't matter what story you got. If you can't execute it right, then you've done a poor. You're not doing your job right. And the last thing you want your audience to feel is boring. You know what? I'll even say this. If an audience think a movie is bad, even that's normal. But boring, especially when this is part of entertainment, it's like music, art, everything. The minute you bore someone, you've already failed. But
it moves so slow, and it's such a generic story. Like, I don't care, like,
my problem with why it moves so slow is because you literally had to wait 1 hour and 40 minutes to complete it all. Like, if it was like, I don't know, 20-minute episode, then yeah, I'd be fine with that, because then I'd be like, all right, it's just this one off. But the fact, like, I just hate it. This is something you always hear about television fans and all that. When like a show starts off poor, they're like, oh, you should keep watching. You should keep watching. It gets good. It's like, my dude, I don't want to watch 6 hours of content just so that it can eventually get good, But that's kind of what happened with me on My Hero Academia. Like, I watched the first entire season of My Hero Academia. I hated that show. I think Deku's the most annoying character in all fiction history. And I had friends of mine telling me, no, you should keep watching because it gets good after season 2, 3, or 4. And I'm like, bro, you can't tell me to watch this entire thing. And then, the only thing I can recall that was horrible at the first and then I ended up loving was Parks and Recreation. I think season 1 was horrible, but I only watched like 4 episodes of season 1, and then I was like, all right, I hear it gets good after season 2. I'll just skip to that, because it's not like Parks and Rec is like this linear story. It's more like an episode on episode basis. And I watched season 2 and I ended up loving Parks and Rec.
Cassian's looking for his sister, mainly because I don't care about Cassian. I think Diego Luna is not a terrible actor. He's just not a leading character. This is not a leading man. I don't care about this guy. He means nothing to me. He has no charisma. He's very boring, and I don't.
I'm actually fine with this criticism. This is what I've said. I'm fine with all criticism, as long as you're not just randomly bringing identity politics, virtue signaling, unless they actually are. Like the first episode of She-Hulk, with a scene where she starts talking about her life experience, how she's feel belittled by men. That scene was hitting you on the nose way too much. That you can complain about as virtue signaling, because that scene, first of all, she was telling that to Bruce Banner, a man who's been traumatized for the last 15 years, literally has attempted to kill himself on multiple occasions, and has to deal with the fury and the rage of living with the demon in a bottle. And not only that, but literally being hated by the earth just for being Hulk. And that scene, that is. But a lot of times with these channels, they don't actually complain about real virtue signaling. They don't really, all it is to them is really, oh my god, this is the cool thing to hate now, so let's just hate it because it gets us views.
Care about his story within this kind of cool world that you have created. I don't give a damn. It just doesn't mean anything to me. I have no vested interest in this. I didn't think he was an interesting character in Rogue One.
I mean, I thought he was decent, at least so far in the first 3 episodes. And I don't think it's a Diego Luna thing. I think it's more of a writing thing. I just think that they haven't done enough to get me hooked on this, It just more feels like, all right, I'm excited, but I'm still excited, It's not like I'm satisfied yet, But hopefully it gets better. I mean, episode 3 got far better than the first 2 episodes, so maybe that's hinting at something. I don't know, but we'll wait and see.
I care, and I still don't care, and you've given me no reason to do that. He's very one-dimensional. It doesn't really seem like he cares. He's just kind of in this moment, and he doesn't show really any real emotion or depth or anything like that. Now, there are 2 interesting characters in this show up until this point with episodes 1 through 3. The best character in the show, and it's not even close, is Bix. Bix is a character that is friends...
Woke, SJW, no! Jeremy, you've fallen into the woke. No, Jeremy. Jeremy, how could you fall into the woke, man? You were just supposed to stop them, not join them. I'm just kidding. All right, I'll give him props. At least this time he's not complaining about women, Like, I don't know why he has such a problem with boobs, but, oh well. Jeremy has joined the dark side. Jeremy is a whammon lover. He's a feminist now. No, I'm just kidding.
With Cassian, seems like they probably had a relationship in the past, and they probably still have chemistry up to this day. And she helps him smuggle different things. She's interesting. She just genuinely is. This actress is good at what she does.
I thought she was interesting.
I'm interested in her story. She's got some likability. She's obviously an attractive lady. She's really kind.
Whoa. You can't say that anymore, Jeremy. You can't compliment a woman anymore. So, sexist point number 1. Boom. God, looks like Jeremy's back on our side, the incel nation, I'm just kidding. Look, this is what I want to do. I just want to kind of just joke around from now on. Because I used to take this kind of stuff serious, then I was like, all right, I'll just have fun while I do it,
Kind of an interesting character. It's not just a paint by the numbers,
I wonder if Jeremy watches my videos, because I feel like I've done enough videos to warrant a Jeremy view. I did get a view once from him. It was when I defended him because there was I think it was Rewriting Ridley podcast. I think that's what it's called. And they put out a hit piece saying that Geeks and Gamers is, alt-right propaganda. They're trying to turn their own people into white supremacists and all that. And I made a video defending him, and I think Jeremy commented saying, thanks buddy for the hard work. So I guarantee you because I know Jeremy often does that. It's just that the videos I criticize him in, he doesn't respond to those. But I think that's mainly because he doesn't care. And I think he does watch them. I just think that he doesn't put too much emphasis on them,
Female character. She actually does have some level of depth, at least it appears, and she was the most...
No, Jeremy, here's where you're wrong. Women don't have depth. Women stay in the kitchen, and that's it. They put on their makeup, they put on their high heels, their dresses, and they look pretty for us men. So, Jeremy, you've gone full woke right there. Because how dare you compliment this sandwich maker right here. I'm obviously kidding. I know somebody's going to clip this and say, oh, look, Isaac's sexist. Bro, my subscribers know I don't take crap serious. I mean, I take things serious. It's just that I tend to make jokes that not everyone makes. But
interesting.
I can guarantee you Max is watching this video right now. Movie Manager Entertainment guy. Max is watching this and saying, Isaac, you can't make those jokes. It's 2022. Well, guess what? I don't give a fuck.
Character that we were introduced to outside of one more. And this guy's name, I can't remember this guy's name, Cyril or something like that. These are like they're not Imperial, they're some kind of like police officers, but he's basically the lead officer in the investigation into something that happens with Cassian. And he's interesting because he has a lot of depth to his character. And there's a lot of layers to this character, and I think we're going to find more.
I was expecting to cringe at this video. So far, nothing's bad has happened.
Out about him as we go forward. So this guy Cyril, I think is his name, and Bix, by far the only like real characters that I'm interested in based on their characters. Now there is another character that I'm interested in, and that is the Stellan Skarsgård character, because Stellan Skarsgård is just a really awesome actor, and so he's not a leading man either, by the way. I wouldn't go see a movie based on Stellan Skarsgård being the lead, but he's a great supporting character and a supporting actor, which is what Diego Luna should be. But of course, Diego Luna has the diversity aspect, and I'm going to talk a little more about that as to why.
Oh my fucking god.
He's the leading man in this series, which makes no sense whatsoever. But yes, Stellan Skarsgård his character is very interesting indeed, and he does feel like he comes from that Imperial kind of era mindset. He looks like he has some type of connection to...
Wait a minute. The girl from Andor is in Morbius? Bro, I didn't recognize her. Morbius star. No, wait, I didn't even recognize her. I didn't recognize her. What? This is the girl from Morbius. How did I not notice this? It was the same girl. Of course, hit movie of the year Morbius, Actually, Morbius is woke because it's trying to spread transgender propaganda because, Dr. Michael Morbius transitions from man to vampire. So that's pretty woke to me, man.
What extent we're not sure of, but he is such a good actor that I'm interested in.
She's from Puerto Rico, which I already knew she was Hispanic because you can just tell. She looks Hispanic. And then Diego Luna, I believe, is Mexican. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Toluca, Mexico. Oh, Toluca. Ew. I'm just kidding. All right, let's continue.
In that. Now, if it wasn't Stellan Skarsgård, would I be interested? I don't know. But that's the difference in I'm interested in this role because of the actor, whereas these two roles, I'm interested because of the portrayal of the character has made me interested.
No, Jeremy, you're just horny. You just like the Hispanic girl, so... Got him. I'm just kidding.
So that needs to be added to it. Overall... 1 through 3 was really boring, but one of the biggest flaws was this right here, the flashback scenes. My God.
Yeah, the flashback. Oh my God, look at the way he looks. He looks like he's Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier right here. Come on, guys. If you can, if you're on a computer, whatever, try zooming in on him right now. He looks like Charles Xavier.
The flashback scenes are so stupid. All right, so this is Diego Luna's character. This is Cassian.
No, Jeremy, you just hate children. Okay, we get it, Jeremy. You hate children. You know, Jeremy believes that children should be thrown off roofs and made sure that their head hits the ground first.
And they do this whole callback thing, and they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are, and this is the only reason Diego Luna is the lead character of this.
They never explain what they mean by pushing identity politics. They just say it and then hope people believe them.
Series, because they're trying to push their diversity bullshit. That's 100% what they're trying to do. It's so dumb. It derails from the story. It gives me no interest.
I don't mean to be that guy, but Diego Luna could come off as a white guy. I'm just saying.
Whatsoever to learn more about this, because I know exactly what Lucasfilm is doing. It was really
Lucasfilm is promoting white passing Hispanics. God, I'm just kidding.
distracting. But when you go back to the
think about it, we got right here Diego Luna. He looks pale, white-ish. He is Hispanic, so I am proud to see him on a Star Wars project. Not only that, but we also have Pedro Pascal. But in The Mandalorian, they cover his face. Lucasfilm's racist. I'm just kidding.
Actual environment that they have created. It is very interesting. I am interested in that. Unfortunately, you're telling me a very boring story from within. If you go back to the original trilogy.
I don't get why he brought up the identity politics. I get the rest of the criticisms. I just don't get where the identity politics is.
You could feel the weight of the world, but you were still going on a small contained story within that world with Luke, Han, and Leia. So even though you're in this massive world that you can feel, it's still a small contained.
To be fair, the original trilogy is some of the greatest, best movies of all time. And Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite movies of all time. Those movies are so high up there that now anytime Star Wars puts out anything, it's incredibly difficult to go anywhere near those levels.
Story that keeps you interested. Whereas in this one, yes, I can feel the weight of the world. They did a great job of world building, great job of building that scope and making me feel like I'm in that world with them. But the journey you're taking me on is terribly boring and uninteresting, primarily because Diego Luna is not a leading man. So we'll see what happens moving forward with the series. But I have to say, I'm actually somewhat looking forward to the next episode based on the world building aspect.
That's because Jeremy has gone woke. Remember, Jeremy, go woke, go broke.
And I do like Bix, and I do like the other guy, Cyril. I can't remember. Weird name, but I'll learn that as we go. But ultimately, do I recommend Andor to anyone that was on the fence? I don't think I do. I don't think I can recommend it because it's still Disney Star Wars. And I still think we're going to end up in a really...
I don't know if it's the speakers, but Jeremy's breath. Jeremy sounds kind of out of breath. Like, what was he doing before this? Okay.
Terrible place when it's all said and done. But if I'm being honest about how I feel about it, based on episodes 1 through 3...
Now, to be fair, that's because his mic seems to be very close to his mouth and nose. So that's probably why it picks it up so loudly. I don't know. Maybe he probably was doing something before,
They did enough to keep me at least interested in the next episode. I am interested because I do think we're going to get more of the Empire in the next episode and kind of move more into that world, because for all the good world building that it did, it still didn't necessarily feel like Star Wars. Overall, I don't think you can say episodes 1 through 3 and split them up. It's just one big episode. It's essentially a movie. And again, Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, they don't really seem to know what they're doing the way that they released this.
I don't know. It just sounds like he's being angry for clicks. It doesn't feel like his criticisms feels real, but a lot of it doesn't feel like an angry kind of video type. It feels like more you do a review and you're like, hey, it looked interesting, but the story was boring and I thought Diego Luna was not good. I feel like you could approach this much better, but Jeremy knows that criticism and complaining about things gets you views. I mean, some of my most popular videos are about me complaining about things. So, hey, anything to pay the bills. Because,
very boring 3 episodes.
Because, Jeremy's now gone woke. He's supporting women. So, now he has to make as much money as he can.
Overall. And boring because Lucasfilm is more concerned with pushing their messaging, the message, than actually just telling you a good story. Because if you actually took this world building that you created with this show...
But what's the message, though? You're not even saying what it is. It seems like you're trying to hide what... You're just saying, hey, guys, there's identity politics. Hey, guys, there's a message being forced here. But you're not saying what the message is,
And wanted to tell me a really good, interesting story with interesting characters... That would have been a game changer. Unfortunately, you've got this vision and this scope, but it's being pulled down by the fact that they have no true ambition to do anything other than push their bullshit. So,
okay, but what is it, though? You're not even saying what it is. Are you scared to say that Diego Luna is a Mexican. I mean, if you want to call him a beaner or a spick, go ahead. Do your best. But like, this is my problem. It just doesn't feel like they believe what they're actually saying. It just feels like they found this niche market of young teenagers who love to hear their beliefs, pushed onto them already. I think that's really with everyone. Like, you see people who watch Fox will listen to Fox because they already believe what Fox says, or CNN. The people who watch CNN watch because they're being told what they already believe. I think that's usually what happens with Geeks and Gamers. That's how I used to be subscribed. I think I got it's funny because when I tell people I unsubscribed, people think it's because I had gone woke. No, the reason why I unsubscribed from Geeks and Gamers around 2 or 3 years ago was because I like their content, and I still think Jeremy's entertaining. It's just that it got boring to hear Jeremy constantly complain. And I remember for months I was on the fence on unsubscribing until he eventually released this video on Indiana Jones 5, casting an actress. And I didn't think about, Jeremy hates women. No, what I thought was, holy crap, you're now complaining about things that aren't even warrant a complaint, Like, it just felt like Jeremy was complaining because he knows what gets the clicks. That's why he likes it when idiots like me make videos on it, because it does make it more popular.
You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for checking out this video.
How can I tell you my thoughts if you didn't even tell me what yours are? You're just saying identity politics, this, and that. It just sounds like you want to keep constantly repeating what you say on your other content. It's because your subscribers are bots. Your subscribers are bots. They like to be regurgitated what they've already believe. And so, that's my belief right there. It didn't... Yeah, no one's even talking about woke stuff or anything like that here. Okay, so this one's from Ricardo. He says, I very much enjoyed Andor. Usually I agree with you, but this time I can't. There's a level of care with this series that I have not seen from Disney Wars so far. I like Diego Luna's performance. I was interested in most of the characters and the story. There are 12 episodes in the first season, and this is playing like a slow burn thriller that is actually trying to develop these characters, which I greatly appreciate. I don't know. It's just I don't see why you're complaining. Like, what it feels like is he was like, all right, of course you got to review a Star Wars show because your channel has mainly Star Wars fans. But you also realize that the main reason why they're there is to hear you complain about something woke, something with identity politics. And so what you did was, oh crap, you saw your review and you were like, well, it doesn't seem like anything woke happened. So, yeah, this little immigrant, we're going to put the blame on him. Like, it's so stupid. I'm not even mad. Like, when I was first sent the clip, I was a little frustrated. And so that's why I decided to watch this entire video. But it doesn't seem like you're genuinely complaining about anything. It just seems like you wanted to find something to complain about. You couldn't find what it is. And so you're like, hey, you know what? We haven't tapped in on the Mexican market. Let's complain about this little beaner right here. This little spick, this little immigrant, this little Jose looking. I can't take Jeremy serious. I honestly can't. His video was actually pretty good. But he complained about something that it didn't seem like he genuinely believed. So I don't know what to tell you. Overall, Jeremy, he knows what gets the bills paid. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I shall see y'all next time.